Welcome back to Peter Parker Capital. I am an American investor with an economics degree, and I studied at the #2 international business school in the world as ranked by US News and World Report. Today, we're jumping into something huge: how to price energy to make clean power profitable and save the planet. This comes from a fire research paper by Alberto Lamadrid Shinshur and Luis Zuluaga at Lehigh University, called Pricing Design for a Low Carbon Economy. It's all about creating markets that reward green energy while cutting carbon emissions. If you're a Gen Z hustler dreaming of green investments or just vibe with fighting climate change, this is for you. Grab your energy drink or matcha latte. This is a 15-minute deep dive. New here? Smash that subscribe button and hit the bell. Let's dive in. Um, why does this matter? Investors, if you're stacking crypto, trading stocks on Robinhood, or eyeing the next big thing, clean energy is it. Renewables like solar and wind just passed coal in the US for the first time in over 130 years, according to the Energy Information Administration. That's a massive shift, like Bitcoin hitting an all time high. For Gen Z, this is your future. Climate change is real, and you're all about fixing it while making bank. This paper shows how to design energy markets so green tech makes money and emissions tank, a total win for your portfolio and the planet. So, what's the deal? The paper focuses on electricity markets, where you've got old school power plants like coal and oil mixing with clean players like solar and wind. These markets are run by independent system operators, or ISOs, like NYISO in New York or ERCOT in Texas. Think of them as the DJs of the energy grid, keeping supply and demand in sync. But here's the problem: coal plants pump out CO2, messing up the environment, while renewables depend on the weather, sunny days or windy nights. That uncertainty makes pricing energy tricky, like trying to predict the next meme stock. The researchers drop a game changing idea: a new way to price electricity called the environmental pricing scheme. It's not like the old school basic pricing where everyone gets a flat rate, like $14 per megawatt hour, no matter what. This new scheme factors in extreme situations, like when wind turbines chill or coal plants max out. It makes sure producers get paid, the market admin stays in the green, and cleaner players get rewarded. Picture a stock market that prices in climate risk, not just supply and demand. That's the vibe. Let's talk money for investors. This is where you cash in. The paper uses real US market data, like from ERCOT in Texas, where prices spiked to $6,600 per megawatt hour during that wild 2021 freeze. Why? Old plants couldn't keep up, and renewables were hit or miss. Um, this new pricing scheme pays producers more when they're pushed to their limits, like during storms, so they cover their costs. For you, that means stable returns from clean energy companies, even when the grid's freaking out. It's like investing in a tech stock that kills it in a market crash. For conventional producers, coal, oil, gas, this scheme is a wake up call. If they pollute too much, they pay higher costs, pushing them to upgrade to cleaner tech or get more efficient. The paper's data shows tightening CO2 caps can slash emissions by up to 47% with cleaner plants stepping up. Investors, here's your move: bet on companies retrofitting old plants or scaling renewables. The Energy Information Administration says clean energy's growth is crushing fossil fuels, and this pricing makes it a no brainer for your portfolio. Gen Z, this is your jam. You're out here at climate marches, rocking sustainable brands, maybe even sipping oat milk lattes. This pricing scheme makes green energy more reliable by paying solar and wind producers to deliver, even when the weather's trash. The paper's numbers show 201 megawatt hours of renewable energy used on average, with just 3.96 megawatt hours wasted, because this pricing pushes efficiency. That means more clean power lighting up your cities, fewer blackouts, and a planet you can post about on TikTok without feeling guilty. Um, Here's the real talk for everyone. The old basic pricing doesn't care about environmental costs, so dirty plants keep running and clean ones struggle when clouds roll in. The environmental pricing scheme changes that. It makes polluters pay more. Coal plants face higher costs if they're spewing CO2, and rewards solar farms for keeping the lights on. The researchers use fancy math called stochastic optimization, don't trip over it, to prove it maximizes social welfare. That's just a big word for everyone winning. Producers get paid, the grid stays solid, and emissions drop like a bad crypto trade. Let's get into the numbers because they're wild. Um, the researchers tested this on a model grid with four conventional plants: coal, oil, and two types of gas, and two renewables, solar and wind. They used real US data like CO2 emission rates at 0.707 tons per a megawatt hour and costs straight from the Energy Information Administration. Under basic pricing, prices are stuck at $14 per megawatt hour, no matter what's going on. The environmental pricing scheme, prices flex from $14.46 to $15.65, depending on how hard plants are working and how much they pollute. When CO2 caps get strict, emissions drop from 61 tons to as low as 44 tons per cycle, a 27% cut without screwing over demand. That's just smart pricing doing its thing. Investors, this is your green light. Cleaner tech, like combined cycle gas or solar, gets paid more, up to $15.65 per megawatt hour. If you're holding stocks in companies like NextEra Energy or Vestas, this pricing makes them more profitable. Gen Z, this gets you closer to a renewable powered life. Think electric cars charging off solar, or festivals running on wind. The scheme also handles value of lost load. When power cuts out, like in Texas 2021, consumers get paid back up to $9,000 per megawatt hour. That's fairness built into the system, like a refund for a canceled Uber. Why is this a big deal? Most energy markets let dirty power stay cheap because they ignore environmental costs. Clean energy fights for scraps when the wind dies. This scheme flips the script, making pollution expensive and green tech profitable. It's like slapping a carbon tax on coal, but doing it through market prices, not government rules. The paper points to the 1990 Clean Air Act, which cut sulfur dioxide emissions and saved $134 billion a year in health costs, like less asthma, longer lives, cleaner air. This could do the same for CO2, and that's a flex for everyone. Gen Z, picture this like your side hustle. You're grinding on Fiverr, flipping NFTs, or running an Etsy shop, always balancing risk and reward. This pricing scheme does that for energy, handling the uncertainty of renewables while keeping profits steady for producers. It's not flawless. Super tight CO2 caps can cause tiny power shortages, like zero point 0.5 to 2.4 megawatt hours in the model, but that's rare, and consumers get paid back, keeping it fair. It's like when your DoorDash order's late, you get a credit and you keep it moving. Investors, here's your playbook. Green energy is the future, and it's not just hype. The paper's model shows renewables holding strong at 201 megawatt hours, even with strict CO2 caps. Companies like Tesla, Enphase, or any tied to ISOs like NVISO or ERCOT are set to cash in as markets adopt this pricing. Your portfolio can ride the decarbonization wave with returns that smoke fossil fuels long term. Data backs it. Clean energy's growth is unstoppable, and this scheme makes it a safer bet. For my policy nerds and climate warriors, this isn't just about profits, it's about making systems better. This scheme pushes cleaner production without heavy regulations, letting markets do the work. The paper compares it to cap and trade systems, like the one that crushed sulfur dioxide emissions. This is next level baking environmental costs into real time prices. It could spark policies that clean up your city's air or make your campus carbon neutral, all while keeping the lights on. Let's wrap it up. This environmental pricing scheme is a blueprint for a low carbon future. It makes clean energy bankable, cuts emissions, and keeps the grid humming. Investors, it's your shot to bet on green tech and beat the market. Gen Z, it's your vibe hustling for a better planet while stacking wins. Um, the researchers prove it works with real world data showing you can profit and decarbonize at the same time. That's the kind of flex we need in 2025. Thanks for vibing with us. Drop a like, comment your thoughts, maybe how you're investing in green or fighting climate change. Um, Check the paper link in the description. It's a preprint, not peer reviewed yet. Subscribe for more Econ Meets Hustle content, and let's keep building that low carbon bag. Catch you next time.